most of the resource persons actually talking about. So climate change is actually defined as a change in the climate that directly or indirectly attributed to human activities that alters the composition of the global atmosphere. And why human activities? We will see that. And global warming, because the terms climate change and global warming are used interchangeably. And who are the ones who are going to be impacted the most? They are going to be our future, the adolescents. And what is necessary for helping them to adapt or helping them in mitigation of climate change is going to be education, and especially climate education. So here we can see nature is in crisis. When we say nature in crisis, here we are talking about climate change and global warming. Global warming is supposed to be one of the major causes for climate change. And we can see the impacts in the forest fires, we can see the floods, we can see the melting of the glaciers. Now, what is the role of human induced effects? Now, here, when we say climate change, I've given the earlier definition, which was according to the IFCC. Now, here, when you look at this, is a very beautiful depiction, which says it is climate change, this depiction over here, and I choose to change as and where I feel. So you can see the floods at one end, and you can see the droughts at the other end. So, how would a common man relate to climate change? Definitions, yes, but how would a common man? The common man is experiencing the rains in January, which is supposed to be winter. So there are hardly any seasons which are left over here. So then this has become now a topic of common living room discussions. It is no longer limited just to the scientists or to the persons who are related to this field. So everybody is experiencing the impacts of this. And here we can just see, because we've spoken a lot about the greenhouse gases. When we say human enhanced or human produced, we can see over here in this picture, the left picture on the left hand side, you can see the red layer is much less as the one on the right hand side, which shows that the heat has been trapped into the earth's surface. Now, these greenhouse gases that we are talking about, how are they human induced or human enhanced? A very common example is the refrigerators in our homes. It produces the chlorofluorocarbons. Now, chlorofluorocarbon is also a greenhouse gas which traps radiation. A very beautiful thing that we are all going through right now is the pandemic. And we have seen nature healing when man has been in lockdown. So this very clearly tells us that human activities are responsible for the climate change. And we can see that in the average rise in temperatures in India. This is according to the reports of the Indian Meteorological Departments. We can see the figures over here on the left-hand side are the ones which were earlier, and the ones which are on the right-hand side depicting the changes which have taken place over a period of time. And we can see certain regions over here heating up more, and some regions are also following that. So India is not the one which is not impacted by climate change. So why adolescents? Why is this topic very important? Because anything, whether it's the social, economic, any aspects, these are the impressionable minds, and these are the ones, they hold the key in their hand to bring about the change they want to see. So here, according to Benjamin Franklin, the future of this planet and the next generation is in the hands of today's young people. So even UNESCO supports the view and says an investment in knowledge pays the best interest, especially in issues and more particularly in everything related to climate change. So what UNESCO says is education, especially if it focuses on children and young people, it will help in curbing the climate change. And that is what we are looking at, because we are already sitting on a time bomb. And according to IPCC, in 2030, we could even cross the 2 degrees to somewhere around 2.7 degrees, which is very scary. Specifically, it is said that education encourages changes in young people's attitudes and behaviors, which is a result of educating them and helps them to adapt to the climate change related trends. So these adolescents being our future, they need to be guided properly, and we can see that they're aware of it. which we can see through the activities of many young climate activities. Most of us have heard of Greta Thunberg, Fridays for Change, and we also have many in India, like Lucy Priya, Ridhima Pandey, who echo the sentiments of adolescents that their future is at stake. So what is the role of education? How will this education help these adolescents who are going to bear the major impact? See, according to Dr. Radhakrishnan, we all know Dr. Radhakrishnan, man cannot control nature, but with proper education, he can at least control his attitude towards nature. In India, we have a topic or a subject called as EVS, and through that, many topics related to sustainability are taught. If these children understand what is unsustainable growth, they will most likely adopt to a climate friendly lifestyle. Article 6 of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change obliges countries to consider education, training, and public awareness as integral responses to climate change. So education provides a sustainable source of local skills and solution as knowledge grows. So adaptation and mitigation to climate change can be passed on to others and the future generation. These adolescents are our future. So what kind of education? Education for climate change or climate change education refers to the process to improve the degree to which an educational system is prepared for and responsive to the challenges of climate change to enhance climate responses to education. Now, all this is known, but when it comes down to actual action, a report published in 2009 found that the need for climate change education was recognized by many national governments, but the thinking about implementation was still very much in its infancy. That is the year 2009, and we are in 2022. Maharashtra state is reeling under the impact of climate change, which is seen in frequent droughts in rural area, floods in urban areas. I belong to Mumbai. Last year, we had a lot of cyclones. We had the cyclone Tokte and many others, which are not very common or which we have not seen in many years to come. So we are experiencing climate change. In Maharashtra, the Department of its doing pioneering work, and the Department of Environment and Climate Change, along with UNICEF, which works for children, has developed the Maji Vasundhara curriculum, which is related to the environment for school students. It is starting from first to the eighth standard to inculcate climate consciousness and green values to the next generation of young minds, so that they are conscious about tackling the issues of climate change. And here, education has a crucial role to play in these climate responses. So, what are the future ways out? What should be the next steps? So education system must be made climate resilient to adapt to the challenges and impacts posed by climate shocks and the trends. So the long-term task is to improve and reorient education systems so that they can equip students with the skills, knowledge, dispositions to face the current and future challenges according to UNESCO 2012. Adolescents are our future. They need to be guided properly about their role in climate crisis. So what if a sense of belongingness is fostered in the hearts of these adolescents? That means if education can help develop connectedness towards nature, what belongs to us, we never harm them. So if we own responsibility for nature, our actions will be from a sense of protection towards the nature, and it will be climate friendly. These are the references. And here we come down. This is a beautiful slide of the PM of our great country, who is an avid environmentalist. And through his various programs, he has also shown the changes or is concerned towards the environment, towards the climate. So according to him, climate change is a pressing global challenge. It calls for a collective human action and a comprehensive response. In India, faith and nature have had a deep link since ancient times. We need to connect back to our roots, and when we have the PM who's guiding us forward, there's no looking back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for a nice, very wonderful presentation. So, any questions from the audience? They may ask in the chat box. If there is no questions, we'll move further for the next presentation.
Now may I request Dr. CJ Hema Malini for your next presentation. The title of the paper is Grey Water Treatment Using Multi-Layer Filter through R Programming Regression Model. Hema Malini, madam, please.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, continue, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all present in this session. I'm Dr. Hema Malini, a professor in Department of Civil Engineering, CVR College of Engineering, which is in Hyderabad. So my study is the grey water treatment using the filter. Pardon, sir? Yes.
No, ma'am. Please continue, ma'am.
Is a professor from CVR College of Engineering, Hyderabad, sir. So here, grey water treatment using the multi-layer filter media. Yeah. So here, as Madam said in the morning, Priyadarshini cover. So what we have to adopt with the climate change. So to adopt with the climate change, so that should be the sustainability you need to link. So to link the sustainability, so what we need to do, we need to recycle and reuse. So that is what we need to implement. So that is one of the adaptation. So that comes is a indirect of the climate change. That means that is an adaptation for climate change phenomena. So here the grey water treatment, what is grey water treatment? Grey water is the outlet, that is output water from the wash area. That means the washing machine, whatever you use the water comes out, and also the kitchen waste, the waste water. Okay, so hand wash basins. So these water can be treated and also recycled, and we can use for the general purposes like gardening, also for the flushing of the toilets. So like that. So this is what might try using the filter media. This filter media which I have used is the low cost. That is the again is the sustainable. The waste which is coming out from the agriculture, the agricultural waste. So which is the waste which I have taken here is the corn cob. So the waste which is useful for here, that is cost effective of the filter media. So which we have tried. Also we have used in this multi-layer filter is the silver impregnated sand. Also sand we used. Suppose is there any biological waste is there, that will be removed there. So generally, if you use immediately the kitchen waste, then there won't be the settlement of the particles. If it a particle settles, again you will get the biological action on that. So that's why we put the infiltrate. That is our try here: silver impregnated soil and the sand. So majorly, what we tested here in this multi-layer filter media, the gray water, which I said is the water which is coming out from the kitchen or the drains, that is the hand wash, or it may be the washing machine. So you may be knowing washing machine, we are using more water. So generally maximum water goes in the washing machines. So that is what we tried here. That is another sustainability. So here to use the multi-layer, the objective of the project is the multi-layer filter media stack with low cost adsorbents to reduce the COD and the BOD. Also TDS, but BOD we have not taken in the synthetic gray water. So earlier, first we started with we collected from the households and we tested with this filter media. Then we got the good results. So we have not taken all the parameters. We have only tested the chemical oxygen demand and the dissolved solids, total dissolved solids. So that is what our try in our this project. So grey water, I already told you, recycling from the urban wastewater. So we can recycle and we use. So that is what I wrote here. And there's one more thing which I want to know, I want to tell here is what is the correlation between the dependent and the independent variables. So here I have taken again a few parameters only. I've restricted the parameters. So here I've made the multilinear regression model. Also through the R programming, I took the parameters in the R programming and I got the results, the correlation between the input variable, that is the COD and TDS from the synthetic gray water, and the what is the output COD TDS, that is the output. So the removal efficiency of the filter I found out for the two parameters. So this is what we tried. We made the bed of this stacked with the sand, also the impregnated silver impregnated sand, also the corn cob. This is a filter which I have used. So this is the composition of the synthetic gray water. We tried with the 8 different samples. That means the composition we changed. So detergent, oil, and color, because it is replicating the wash water from the what is that washing machine. So that's why we replicate. To replicate this, we have mixed 8 different samples we have taken and mixed in the different proportions like this. And first we tried with the household as it is. We have taken before we mix and use the synthetic as it is. We have taken from the washing machine. We tried and we got like this. And so this is we want to only take the COD and TDS. So BOD we have not taken because it is little take time. So we want to first it is whether we are getting very good results in the first stage of my project. So COD and also so I got the network problem, sir. Sorry. I'll continue.
Okay, madam,
so
continue.
now,
Please continue.
Yeah. So are you able to see the picture, sir? Are you able to see the PPT? Can you anyone answer, please?
No.
I have to share again. Okay, I'll share again. Once again, I'll share it.
Okay.
We have taken it. What I said.
Madam, your PPT is not seen on screen.
Sir, can you able to hear? Can you able to hear me? Yes. So there's and one more parameter which I took is the flow rate. So flow rate we changed. So when we pass through this filter media, we changed the flow rate. That is why we increased from 70 to 200. We have increased the flow rate. Then what is the input and output? We have seen there is the importance of the flow rate is also there. So that is the one of the parameters which we have taken in this. So removal efficiency of the TDS is very good when the flow rate is reducing. Similar way, we have checked with the different, that's why already I told you 8 samples we have taken, synthetic samples, combination of detergent, oil and color dye. So using that, we checked first total dissolved solids and COD and what is the removal efficiency we checked. So actually we are getting very good results. But that means the corn cob is absorbing the chemicals which are present in the detergent and color dye. So that is what we concluding in our this research. So again, I already told you the correlation between the COD removal efficiency, which I have taken only these parameters, input of TDS and also the flow rate. So this is the correlation equation. We got it from the R program when we input the independent and dependent variables. So that is our conclusion. We got the 45% to 50, that is 48.5%, because here we have only taken flow parameter, only taken. We have not considered in this first stage filter media properties. That means the thickness we have not considered. Also, what is the difference in combinations also we have not considered, because we have taken the 2-3 layers in this. So that is the scope for this project, because I completed the first stage and I am going to continue in this. So, and I sustain the climate change, to adopt to the climate change, and also to attack the sustainability. So water is the major role for the any water industry or agriculture or the domestic. So we thought of continuing with the decentralized treatment system. That means so institutions level, the low cost using the low cost material, decentralized system, if we adopt, so we can satisfy the goal of the climate change. Thank you so much for the opportunity given, and also thank you the Golekar sir, he has given me the opportunity. Thank you sir, and thank you all the organizers and the convener. Thank you from my side. I thank my management to support me to continue, attend this program. Thank you so much, sir. Any
Okay, thank you,
questions
ma'am.
can please raise. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is any
Any questions
I
from
can
the
answer?
audience? Okay, if there is no questions, we'll start with next presentation.
Thank you.
Now may I request Nyaneshwar Vittal Vaya for his presentation. His topic title is Temperature Trend Analysis by Man-Candle Test of Akola District, Maharashtra. Please, Nyaneshwar, you can present your topic.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon all. Myself Nyaneshwar Vaya. I'm research scholar in Government Institute of Science, Aurangabad. And I'm here to present my research topic, that is temperature trend analysis by man-candle test of Akola District, Maharashtra, India. So we all know the insolation, that means incoming solar radiation, which comes to surface of the earth. Among that, 49% will absorb by the earth surface and 20% absorbed by the atmosphere, where the some of it radiate back into the outer atmosphere, and this absorption and reflection controls the heat budget of the earth. So ultimately the temperature of planet will be that at which energy absorbed balance energy lost. That means the absorption as well as the reflection. Then my study area. So in this present study, I have taken Akola district, which is comparatively hot district in our region, in Vidarbha region mostly. So Akola district is located on the northern side of Vidarbha region, Maharashtra state, India. It is positioned 20 to 21 degree north to 77 to 76 degree east. And the method that I have used is a man-candle test. This is a non-parametric test where we get the candle tau value and the sense slope of this data. We have collected data from 1951 to 2000, actually 20, and it is collected from the Akola station, and it is classified. The data is classified into 4 seasons, that is winter, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, and monsoon season. And lastly, we have calculated the annual trend of our data by using this man-candle test. So the Z value, that is candle tau value, we have got it from so Z statistic value reveals that trend of the average annual maximum and minimum temperature from 1950 to 2020 is individual season, which are pre-monsoon, that is 0.11. For winter, it is 0.175. For annual, it is 0.326. For monsoon, it is 0.88. And post-monsoon, it is 0.30. And annually, the higher value, while monsoon shows the lower value. That means the trend is lower in monsoon, but higher in annual pattern. So these are the figures, graphs that is showing the Kendall's tau values. Then estimator strain slope values, they are 0.06 for pre-monsoon, 0.10 for winter, 0.1 for annual, 0.04 for the monsoon, and for post-monsoon, it is 0.019. And this strain slope is a magnitude of your trend on yearly basis. Then by this study, we have some conclusions. That is, our analysis revealed that mean temperature and season-wise temperature higher for a pre-monsoon and annually, while lowest trend is observed during the monsoon season. While on the other hand, the heat in the summer season is intense during daytime, and the temperature rises to about 46 to 47 degrees Celsius in the pre-monsoon period. October, November, and December are the cold months, while the December is coldest month in the year. The mean daily maximum temperature during December is 29.3 degrees Celsius, and the mean daily minimum temperature is 11.9 degrees Celsius. And lastly, we have observed that our analysis show that the average temperatures tends to have highest trend in pre-monsoon period and annually, while the lowest trend is observed during monsoon season, and summer days are intense, summer days having intense heat, while the night in the December are coldest. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Naneshwar,
Thank you.
for a nice presentation here. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I think there is no question, so we'll move towards next session.
Okay. May I request Siddesh Rajaram Sigwan to present your paper. The paper title is The Effect of Fly Ash, Sawdust Ash on the Behavior of Black Cotton Soil. Please, Sigwan sir, you can present your papers. Sigwan sir is here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Please continue your presentation.
Sir, I will share my PPT.
Hello? Hello?
Siddesh, you have been the co-host, so you should be able to share your PPT. Share your screen.
Okay.
Siddesh, please try to share your PPT again. Try to share your screen again.
Okay. Okay.
Hello. Hello. Sigwan sir, any problem? Hello.
Yes, sir.
What is your problem?
Hello. Mr. Sanap sir will share my PPT.
Okay.
They told me.
We will share your PPT in next presentation. Now may I request Dr. Prakash Burute sir to present your paper.
Okay.
Dr. Prakash Burate sir, please present your paper. Yes sir.
हॅलो, हा सर, आवाज येतोय माझा?
Yes sir.
शेअर झाले माझी?
Yes, you can continue sir.
ओके, थँक्यू. नमस्कार, मी डॉक्टर प्रकाश बुरुटे, सहाय्यक प्राध्यापक मोहनराव पतंगराव पाटील महाविद्यालय बोरगाव, सांगली. माझ्या शोध निबंधाचा विषय आहे हवामान बदलाचा भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्थेवरील परिणाम. माझ्या संशोधन पेपरचे हे घटक आहेत. त्यामध्ये प्रस्तावना, अभ्यासाची उद्दिष्टे, संशोधन पद्धती, हवामान बदलाची कारणे व स्वरूप, हवामान बदलाचे परिणाम, ग्लोबल वॉर्मिंग, शेती व शेतीपूरक व्यवसायावर परिणाम, पशुधनावर होणारा परिणाम, मत्स्य व्यवसायावर होणारा परिणाम आणि निष्कर्ष. वेळेची मर्यादा विचारात घेऊन मी केवळ महत्त्वाचे घटकच या ठिकाणी थोडक्यात मांडणार आहे. आपणा सर्वांना माहीतच आहे की जागतिक हवामानामुळे बरीच संकटे या पृथ्वीतलावरती आपणास अनुभवायला आलेले आहेत. यामध्ये प्रामुख्याने पूर, वणवे, हिमनद्या वितळणे, दुष्काळ अशी अनेक संकटे या पृथ्वीतलावरती आजपर्यंत आपल्याला पाहायला मिळालेली आहेत. रिझर्व्ह बँकेच्या एका अहवालानुसार 2019 या एका वर्षात चक्रीवादळे आणि पावसाच्या या अस्थिरतेमुळे शेती क्षेत्राचे प्रचंड नुकसान झालेले आहे. याबरोबरच आपणास हे देखील माहिती आहे की हवामान बदलाचे व ग्लोबल वॉर्मिंगचे असे अनेक दुष्परिणाम आपणास सातत्याने भेडसावत असल्यामुळे हा एक सर्वांच्याच पुढे चिंतेचा विषय ठरलेला आहे. यामुळे या पार्श्वभूमीवरतीच हवामान बदलाचा मुद्दा सर्वांनीच गांभीर्याने घेण्याची आज गरज निर्माण झालेली आहे. माझ्या अभ्यासाची उद्दिष्टे आहेत हवामान बदलास कारणीभूत घटकांचा अभ्यास करणे, हवामान बदलाचा अर्थव्यवस्थेतील विविध घटकांवर झालेला परिणाम अभ्यासणे आणि हवामान बदलाचे प्रतिकूल परिणाम कमी करण्यासाठी उपाय सुचवणे. माझा या संशोधन पेपर तयार करण्यासाठी जी संशोधन पद्धती वापरलेली आहे त्यामध्ये हा संशोधन पेपर पूर्णपणे दुय्यम स्वरूपाच्या सामग्रीवर आधारित असून यासाठी विविध वर्तमानपत्रे, पुस्तके, मासिके, इंटरनेटवरील संबंधित वेबसाईट इत्यादींचा संदर्भ म्हणून वापर करण्यात आलेला आहे. आता हवामान बदलाची कारणे पाहत असताना आपणास दोन्ही बाजूंचा विचार करणं हे गरजेचं आहे. काही कारणे ही निसर्ग निर्मित आहेत, परंतु त्यापेक्षा जास्त मानव निर्मित कारणे ही हवामान बदलास मोठ्या प्रमाणात असलेली आपल्याला दिसून येत आहेत. यामध्ये प्रामुख्याने हरितगृह वायूमध्ये प्रचंड वाढ, पृथ्वीच्या कक्षेत आणि परिभ्रमणातील बदल, जीवाश्म इंधने जाळणे, वाढती जंगलतोड, सूर्याच्या ऊर्जेचे परावर्तन, ज्वालामुखीचा उद्रेक, नैसर्गिकरित्या होणारे कार्बन डायऑक्साईडचे उत्सर्जन, याबरोबरच इतरही अनेक घटक आहेत की या घटकांच्यामुळे ही हवामान बदल होत असलेला आपल्याला दिसून येत आहे. तर ग्लोबल वॉर्मिंगचा विचार करता या ठिकाणी तक्ता क्रमांक 1 दर्शवतो की जागतिक हवामान बदलास कारणीभूत असणारे घटक कोणते आहेत. यामध्ये याचा आपण जर यांचं प्रमाण जर पाहिलं तर आपल्याला असं दिसतं की ऊर्जा पुरवठा हा घटक जवळपास एकूण घटकांचा विचार करता 1/4 पेक्षा जास्त प्रमाण हे ऊर्जा पुरवठा घटकाचं असलेलं दिसून येतं या हवामान बदलास. यानंतरचा दुसरा घटक आहे की उद्योग, त्याचं प्रमाण आहे 19.4% आणि त्या खालोखाल जंगल या घटकाचं प्रमाण 17.4% असलेलं आपल्याला दिसून येत आहे. आता हवामान बदलाचे परिणामाचा जर विचार केला आपण तर आपल्याला असं दिसून येतं की एका बाजूला पूर परिस्थिती आपल्याला दिसते आणि दुसऱ्या बाजूला दुष्काळासारखी परिस्थिती दिसते. म्हणजे हवामान बदलामुळे होणारे परिणाम जे आहेत ते या पृथ्वी तलावरील सर्व सजीव सृष्टीला वेगवेगळ्या रूपाने भोगावे लागत असलेले आपल्याला दिसून येत आहेत. तर माझ्या संशोधन पेपरमध्ये याच्या आकडेवारीच्या स्वरूपामध्ये विस्तृतपणे मी याची मांडणी केलेली आहे. यामध्ये आपल्याला असं दिसतं की या वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारच्या संकटांचा जर विचार केला आपल्याला, तर ते सजीव सृष्टीला त्याचा अधिक धोका सध्या आहेच, परंतु भविष्यामध्ये देखील हा धोका वाढलेला आपल्याला ह्या जैवविविधतेला आणि मानवी आरोग्यावरती होत आहे असं दिसून येतं. त्याच्यानंतर हा पुढचा तक्ता आहे की CO2 उत्सर्जनात काही देशांचा जागतिक वाटा 1990 ते 2016 पर्यंतची आकडेवारी या ठिकाणी मी दिलेली आहे. तर यामध्ये CO2 उत्सर्जनात सर्वाधिक हिस्सा याचा विचार केला असता तर प्रथम क्रमांकाला चीन हा देश असलेला आपल्याला दिसून येतो. 1990 मध्ये देखील चीनच यामध्ये प्रथम क्रमांकावर होता आणि त्यांचं जे जागतिक वाटा होता तो 10.41% होता आणि तो 2016 मध्ये पाहिला तर तो देखील सर्वाधिक 29% असलेला दिसून येतो. भारताचा जर विचार केला तर CO2 चं उत्सर्जन भारतामध्ये 1990चा जर विचार केला तर ते 2.63% इतकं होतं आणि ते 2016चा विचार केला तर ते 7.9 इतकं आहे. म्हणजे इतर देशाच्या तुलनेत जर विचार केला तर भारतामध्ये देखील हा CO2 उत्सर्जनाचं प्रमाण हे अधिक असलेलं आपल्याला दिसून येतं. आता पुढचा तक्ता आहे शेती व शेतीपूरक व्यवसायावर होणारा अनिष्ट परिणाम. या ठिकाणी पाण्याची उपलब्धतेचा विचार मी या ठिकाणी केलेला आहे. दरडोई पाण्याचा विचार जर केला उपलब्धतेच्या बाबतीमध्ये तर 1951 आणि 2001 त्याच्यानंतर पुढचं जर प्रेडिक्शन केलं 2025 आणि 2050 तर लोकसंख्येच्या तुलनेत दरडोई पाण्याची उपलब्धता जर पाहिली तर याचं प्रमाण हे वर्षानुवर्ष जर पाहिलं आपण तर हे तुलनेनं कमी होत चाललेलं आपल्याला दिसून येतं. पुढचा तक्ता आपल्याला दिसतो की प्रति हेक्टर अन्नधान्य उत्पादन वाढीचा दर. यामध्ये 1980-81 ते 2014-15 या कालावधीचा विचार केलेला आहे. ठराविक पिकांच्या बाबतीमध्ये या ठिकाणी विचार केलेला आहे आणि यामध्ये आपल्याला असं दिसून येतं की 1980-81 ते 90-91 मध्ये एकूण अन्नधान्याचा उत्पादन वाढीचा दर विचारात घेतला तर तो 3% इतका दिसतो आणि तोच दर 2010-11 ते 2014-15 या कालावधीत जर पाहिला तर तो 1.8 इतका म्हणजेच जवळपास निम्म्याच्या जवळपास तो कमी झालेला आपल्याला दिसून येतो. याचा अर्थ की क्लायमेट चेंज किंवा हे जे वातावरणात होणारा बदल आहे त्याचा प्रभाव प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्षरित्या ह्या अन्नधान्याच्या उत्पादन वाढीवरती होत असलेला आपल्याला दिसून येतोय. या ठिकाणी आपल्याला 8, 9, 10 आणि 11 या पंचवार्षिक योजनांच्या कालावधीमध्ये कृषी क्षेत्राचा GDP मधील हिस्सा किती होता तो या ठिकाणी आपल्याला दिसून येतो. तर तो 8व्या पंचवार्षिक योजनेपासून 10व्या पंचवार्षिक योजनेमध्ये तो 4.80 पासून 2.40 पर्यंत म्हणजे घटत आलेला दिसतो आपल्याला आणि 11व्या पंचवार्षिक योजनेमध्ये 4.10 पर्यंत दिसतो आपल्याला. तर याचा विचार केला तर हे जे होणारे जे चढ उतार आहेत यास प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष रीतीने हे होणारा जे काही वातावरणातील बदल आहे त्याचा परिणाम झालेला आपल्याला दिसून येतोय. आता पशुधनावर होणारा परिणामाचा जर विचार केला आपण तर यामध्ये जागतिक तापमान वाढ जी आहे म्हणजेच ग्लोबल वॉर्मिंग जे आहे यामुळे गाई आणि म्हशींच्या जी काही दूध उत्पादनाची क्षमता आहे त्याच्यावर त्याचा परिणाम होणारे परिणाम आहे. त्या परिणामाचा आपण आकडेवारीमध्ये जर विचार केला तर आपल्याला वर्षाला 1.8 दशलक्ष टन इतकी दूध उत्पादनात घट असली आपल्याला दिसून येत आहे. आता मत्स्य व्यवसायाच्या बाबतीत जर विचार केला आपण तर 1980-81 ते 2019-20 या कालावधीमधलं जर आपण आकडेवारी जर पाहिली किंवा मत्स्य उत्पादन आणि या वार्षिक सरासरी त्याचा वृद्धीचा दर जर पाहिला आपण तर 1980-81 मध्ये वार्षिक सरासरी वृद्धी दर जो आहे तो 4.36% इतका होता. तर तो 2019-20 मध्ये 4.35% म्हणजे कमी झालेला दिसतो आणि दरम्यानच्या मध्यंतरीच्या कालावधीमध्ये तो 2001 मध्ये हा वार्षिक सरासरी वृद्धीचा दर हा उणे झालेला आहे म्हणजे वजा 0.33% झालेला आपल्याला दिसून येतोय. आता हवामान बदलाचे जे परिणाम आहे ते परिणाम कमी करण्यासाठी आपण काय करू शकतो तर यामध्ये आपण पाण्याचा अपव्यय कमी करणे म्हणजे वैयक्तिक स्वतः आपण काय करू शकतो. आपण केवळ सूचना देणं किंवा सजेशन्स सांगणे यापेक्षा स्वतःपासून सुरुवात करणं ही या ठिकाणी अत्यंत महत्त्वाचे आहे. खालीचा वाटा आपण उचलणं हे गरजेचं आहे. यासाठी स्वतः आपण इंडिव्हिज्युअल आपण काय करू शकतो तर त्यामध्ये पाण्याचा अपव्यय कमी करणे, शाकाहारी आहाराला प्राधान्य देणे, जंगलांचे रक्षण करणे, महासागरांचे रक्षण करणे, याबरोबरच पेट्रोल, कोळसा इत्यादी इंधनांचा मर्यादित वापर करणे. त्याबरोबरच इकडे या चित्रामध्येही काही मी गोष्टी हायलाइट केलेल्या आहेत. सायकल सारख्या साध्या साधनांचा आपण वापर करणे की ज्यामुळे इंधनांची बचत होऊ शकते आणि त्यापासून निर्माण होणारे जे काही प्रदूषण आहे ते रोखलं जाऊ शकतं. घरातील घरगुती आपली जे काही विजेची उपकरणं आहेत त्यांचा मर्यादित वापर करणं, रियूज आणि रिसायकल करणे. त्याच्यानंतर वृक्ष लागवड मोठ्या प्रमाणावर करणे, सौर ऊर्जा व पवन ऊर्जेचा वापर वाढवणे, मांस व दुग्धजन्य पदार्थांचे सेवन कमी करणे, असे वेगवेगळे जे साधे जे घटक आहेत त्या घटकांचा आपण अवलंब करून आपला खारीचा वाटा या हवामान बदलामध्ये आपण हवामान बदलामुळे होणारे परिणाम कमी करण्यासाठी आपण या ठिकाणी आपला खारीचा वाटा उचलू शकतो. तर माझ्या संशोधन पेपरचा निष्कर्ष किंवा सारांश मी या ठिकाणी मांडलेला आहे. मानव हा प्रथम पर्यावरणाच्या तसेच निसर्गाच्या सहवासातूनच पुढे आला असून माहिती तंत्रज्ञानाच्या विकासामुळे तो हळूहळू निसर्गाचे उपकार विसरत चालला आहे. मानव फक्त स्वतःच्या फायद्यासाठी बेसुमार वृक्षतोड करत आहे, त्यामुळे पर्यावरणाचा समतोल ढासळतो आहे. यासाठी प्रत्येक नागरिकाने पर्यावरण संवर्धन ही काळाची गरज ओळखून त्यात आपले योगदान दिले तरच हवामान बदलाचे प्रतिकूल परिणाम कमी होण्यास मदत होईल असे मला वाटते. मला संयोजकांनी संधी दिली माझा संशोधन पेपर सादर करण्यासाठी, त्यासाठी धन्यवाद.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very nice presentation. Any questions? Okay, I
Sir.
think there is no questions.
तर माझा आवाज येतोय का?
Yes, हो.
हा, मला एक क्वेश्चन होता आता.
Yes.
त्यांनी उपाय वेगवेगळे मेन्शन केले, त्याच्यात एक होतं की मांस आणि दुग्धजन्य पदार्थांचं सेवन कमी करणं. त्याचं काय कनेक्शन आहे ते आम्हाला नाही कळलं जरा.
हॅलो सर.
हा, बोला.
बुरुटे सर, आवाज येत नाही का? गेलेत का? लिव्ह झालेत का?
सर नाही येत वाटतं ते.
सर त्यांची रेंज गेलेली आहे वाटतं बहुतेक. आपण नेक्स्ट.
ओके सर, ओके.
नाउ मे आय रिक्वेस्ट डॉक्टर मोनिका कुटिया फ्रॉम DKD कॉलेज, डिब्रुगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी, आसाम. Request present. Madam, please present your paper.
हाँ, हेलो.
Hello. Hello.
ठीक है.
Sir.
Okay.
Hello.
She has posted a request that she is traveling, so she will be presenting at the next session. So,
Okay. Now may I request Dr. Siddesh Rajaram Sigwan to present your paper. I will share his PPT. Okay.
Golekar sir, sorry to interrupt. Please, whoever will be the next presenter, please put his name or her name.
Request to Siddesh Rajaram Sigwan to present his paper. I will share his PPT from my desktop. Sir, screen share.
Sir, Golekar sir, I think Shigwan is not there.
No?
There is no.
Sir, please continue with the next participant. He is not online anymore.
बाहेर नाही पडलो मी.
Okay, we'll start with next presentation.
Leave meeting.
Okay, may I request now Dr. Karuna Shankar to start his presentation.
Sir, I am audible.
Sir, right, yes, you are audible and screen is visible as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. First of all, I thank you to organizers this conference for giving this opportunity to present my views on this topic.
Sir, it's not audible.
Sir,
Hello, sir.
Dr. Karuna, please unmute yourself.
So we're not audible now.
So, Dr. Karuna, please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. May I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Basically, my topic is for my presentation today is Sustainable Development and Prime Minister Employment Program. Basically, this project, this study is the outcome of Prime Minister project entitled Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, PNGP, a tool for sustainable livelihood and gainful employment after COVID. Basically, this project is sponsored and funded by the Higher Education Department of Government of Uttar Pradesh under the Central of Excellence Scheme. So, under this topic, basic idea and background of this my study is that globally labor productivity has increased and unemployment is back to pre-financial crisis level. However, the global economy is growing at a slower rate. More progress is need to increase employment opportunities, particularly from the young peoples also, reduce informal employment and the gender pay gap, and promote safe and secure working environment, create decent work for all. And this is the targeted by the say in the United Nations report in 2019 also. So we know that some of the most daunting challenges faced by the poor and developing countries planners are not only the provide employment to the even increasing labor force, but also to reduce the backlog of the unemployment, huge migration from village to cities, poverty and inequality of income distribution, while dealing with the lower level of education and poor health facilities at the same time. So, and one more important study quotes in the our Indian Economic Survey 2017 estimate that the average 6 million Indians migrated primarily in search for work and livelihood opportunities annually between 2001 and 2011, leading to the interstate migrant population of the about 16 million and inter-district migration population high as 18 million as per the government of India survey of economic survey of India. So given the agrarian economic characteristics of the developing countries like India is become important that their rural sector is able to yield a reasonable level of income surplus to address apportioned issues and further growth and employment generation. One important notable by Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi was impressed with the unique feature of sustainable rural development, which motivate him to make village industries an integral part of the freedom movement in India. So risk of although the risk of environmental damage are implicit in economic growth, as it put increased pressure on the environmental resources, but the policy makers, guided by the concept of sustainable development, will necessarily have to work to assure that developing economies remain firmly attached to their ecological roots, and these roots are promoted so that they may support growth over the long run also. So village industries, mostly micro small industries, in the nature inherently environment friendly to great extent. Most of the village industries are based on the local raw materials in order to create viable and sustainable employment campaign by educate capital farmers in rural areas. So that the one hand increase the opportunities of work in rural sector, and other hand to keep the growth sustainable. Government of India has implemented various employment generation programs for this purpose, and I'm here quoting one important study, one important schemes launching by the government of India in 1995. That is the Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. So basically, basic objective of this study, the present the attempt to highlight the progress of PMGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, and to analyze how PMGP can help to rural sustainable development and sustainable employment generation also. We also try to offer a suggestion with the respect of success of employment generation schemes in the long run while targeting sustainable development. So important is that how PMGP and sustainable development correlate with each other. Basically, the term sustainable, you know very well, we know, academicians know that the term sustainable development was first used by Barbara Ward in 1970. It was accepted on international level when United Nations established the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1983. The meaning of sustainable development is that develop with the need of present generation without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. The Indian Planning Commission has accepted the concept, and since 8 plans sustainable development is being mentioned as objective of the plans. So in the decade of 19, initially Rural Employment Generation Program, that is the RAGP, was being implemented by the KDBC Khadi Industry Commission since April 1995. It was suggested by High Power Committee chaired by the Prime Minister of India in 1994-95. Then after, since 15 August 2008, RAGP started with the new name and Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, PMEGP, and also started implementation in both rural and urban areas of the country, because before this it was functioning only in the rural areas of the country. So basically, objective of the PMEGP is that the generate employment opportunity in rural and urban areas of the country. So setting up the new self-employment ventures, projects, and micro enterprises also bring together widely disparate traditional artisan, rural, urban, unemployed youth, and giving them self-employment and opportunity to the extent possible to their place also. So provide continuous and sustainable employment to a large segment of traditional and prospective artisans, rural and urban employment youth in the country for better livelihood, and also as the distressful migration of rural youth in urban areas also. So increase the base earnings capacity of artisans and contribute to increase the growth rate of rural and urban employment. So facilitate participants in the financial institution for a higher credit flow to the micro enterprises. So for this purpose, to achieve the goal of rural industrialization and the develop in entrepreneurial skill among rural unemployment youth. So now I'm going with that here presenting few data of PMEGP progress and on the basic contribution in employment generation by the PMEGP in India. Basically, I here shown the last few 10 to 15 years data regarding employment and number of projects, or you can say number of units sanctioned and funding by the under this PMGP scheme, and each and every projects per year many lakhs employment generates per year. Okay, so basically contribution of village industries KBI sector in India, another important aspect, village industries of KBI sector also play an important role in Indian export with the sustainability concept, because of most of the units and projects sanctioned under the PMG for the local based on the local raw materials like handicraft and honey, handicrafts, and other materials. So if these types of products increase export, overall export in India and as well as in abroad, then this can play an important role to protect the sustainable development concept. So the data present of contribution these village industries product the aggregate export of Indian economy as per the data of the KBIC and MSME annual reports, and also annual reports of the economic survey of the country. Great significance becomes through the light on the international demand of these products from India. It's by the mapping the demand for products in market can produce entrepreneurs from the productions, plants and government in turn on the formulation of development programs of the scheme. A general pressure of the data so that the ABP, FPI, HMPI, FI and BFI industry, these are the various categories of village industries under the PMJP scheme. So I'm here pointing one important product like honey, which is the product the forest-based industry was exported worth rupees 1206.9.33 lakhs in the year of 2018-19. Indian papad industry alone generated rupees 6976.82 lakhs from the export. So along with these, handicraft and handmade paper products are again the major earners. It is noticeable that all these products are purely safe for the environment, and not just that, their production process in the rural industry follow the idea of sustainable development. So basically, I'm again quoting with the why and how PMGP schemes and under this projects under this scheme help to sustainable rural and urban and development with this concept of sustainable development. Basically, in this scheme of village industries, local technology is used with the local raw materials, which is easily available locally in the rural sectors. Eco-friendly products are produced by the village industries established under the PMGP and RGP, and it is an important factor of the sustainable development in order what the scheme is probably avoid work which harmful to environment. Okay, so no unnecessary use of heavy machinery. Basically, it is the solution of the manpower under the RGP scheme, and that is the given priority. In the rural employment providers with the comparatively low per capita investment. Also, the scheme is also help to build entrepreneurship among rural artisans and rural unemployment youth by the providing skill upgradation and entrepreneurship development program. So this scheme developed the feeling of the self-confidence and self-dependence to increase the social and economic status of the weaker sections, and finally provide the continuation of sustainable development to large segment of traditional and prospective artisans and rural unemployment youth in the country is the big support. So it is the check of the migration of artisan rural unemployment youth from the village to urban areas also. So now finally I'm going with the with few suggestions and conclusions also. Basically, urgent action is needed to ensure that current material need to not lead to the over extraction of the resources or to the degradation of environmental resources. Moreover, it does include policies that improve resources efficiency, reduce waste, and maintain mainstream sustainability practices across all the sector of the economy. Rural industries and handicraft are such fields which deeply support the idea of responsible production as well as responsible consumption also. So to live a sustainable lifestyle, it is the importance that we first regulate the production process and reduce our ecological footprints. The need of the time to consider and plan for a longer time period while maintaining the environmental mindful connection. So many negotiations, regional development agencies, central government and international institutions and several NGOs also are playing significant role in the sustainable rural development at the international level. That is the itself explain the gravity of the concept. So sustainable development with the PMGP can be effective way to fight against the challenges of rural India and also the world, because PMGP is potentially encouraging rural entrepreneurship, educating people, creating awareness, improving health services, promoting agriculture, diversity and eco-friendliness. Hence, adopting the scheme is the fruitful for sustainable rural development, helpful for the sustainable employment generation and poverty elimination, and finally a worth step to next or the coming generation also. So we are very hopeful, and it is expected that our study will provide a base for the further research also. We believe that if implemented effectively, the program will prove to be milestone for the further policy making towards sustainable economic empowerment of the people of India facing employment and migration problem due to COVID-19. With the completion of this study, the policy makers would be able to know impact of this program on the sustainable employment sustainable development. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity. If you have any query, please ask me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for a nice presentation. So, any questions? I think there is no question, so we'll move towards next presentation.
Now may I request Dr. Monica Kutia from Dibrugarh University, Assam. Please present your paper. Dr. Monica Kutia, please present your paper.
Thank you. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Please continue your paper.
Thank you for accepting my request. Now I'm going to present my paper. Here prevailed a river, a picture of eroded humanitarian values based on climate change. This poem is taken from Navakanta Barua. He is a dauntless voice of modern Assamese poetry. In his poem, Here Prevailed a River, he successfully portrays the anarchy, skepticism, and deterioration of humanitarian values brought to the society by rapid development of the modern civilization during the 20th century by employing various elements from nature. Vice versa, the prosperity in various parts of the world, which advanced since the 20th century on amount of the emergence and developments of human civilization, constant destruction of nature has welcomed a threat to the civilization itself in the present time. Climate change encountered by the world in the contemporary time can be considered as one such threat. Now I'm going to present a few lines about the poet. Navakanta Barua is one of the most popular poets in Assamese literature. He considered as one of the pioneers of modern Assamese poetry, which was starting from
is there PPT for this presentation, or are you going to just give it orally?
Sir, now can't present my PPT from my laptop or desktop. That's why I'm
just ask for the confirmation. Please continue.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Navakanta Barua, actually he considered as one of the pioneers of modern Assamese poetry, who is starting from the 14th of the 20th century. And his literary contribution towards Assamese literature was not limited to only the field of poetry. He has also enriched Assamese literature as a lyricist, novelist, children's writer, translator, playwright, and comic writer. The aim and objectives of this paper is to attempt to explore the following areas in the field of the interdependence of nature and human civilization will be explored. Secondly, how the evils of the erosion of human values and the negative impacts of destruction of nature came back in a terrible manner to demolish the human civilization will be analyzed on the basis of this poem. The reflection of positive vibes towards the future will be discussed on the basis of social realism. For this paper, analytical method was adopted. The imagery and symbols used in the poem are discussed from the view of social awareness and climate change. In doing so, the aesthetic beauty of the poem is not judged. I'm taking the poem English translation of Bipul Kumar Barua. Now I'm going to discuss the main topic. Rivers are the foundation of all civilizations of the world. This is why the river is identified as a symbol of strength and the lifeline of culture, portrayed in folklore elements as well modern literature of different countries. In addition, the river is analyzed as a symbol of potentiality, hope, and creativity. From the very ancient time, the tradition of India worships the river as a woman and as a mother. But sometimes the river becomes a symbol of destruction for various natural or man-made factors, which is dangerous for human civilization. The poet Navakanta Barua, in his poem Yat Nodi Asil, here prevailed a river, raises his views on climate change caused by the aggressive nature of human behavior. Creation of desert. Here he discussed about a desert which is very slowly came into human civilization. Creation of a desert is not the phenomenon of a single day. It is a slow-moving, multi-decade-long process of the transition from a forest to a desert, which is likely to the incurable disease secretly appeared in human body without any external symptoms. When human beings look back to the past, they realize how a forest becomes a dry, barren land due to deforestation. The high mountains become flat, deep rivers became lifeless ripple. The side effects of climate change also make the arrival of desert in the blink of eye. The poet notes that with the advent of the desert into the natural world, the human psyche has also gradually been transformed into the same by the advanced elements of modernity and science and technology. The greed, power, and arrogance of human beings use the elements of science and technology against the interest of human society had led to the advent of the desert among human beings. There was a poem by T.H. Eliot where the scarcity of water described, and this poem also Navakanta Barua narrate the scarcity of humanitarian values in our society. Here the poet narrates how the creative voice of human society that stacked in the harassed and destructive environment controlled by the cruel and powerful section. But the poet wants to give the status of a dream to a nightmare. Having the faith upon the Holy Spirit of mankind, the poet believed that the barren time will be changed very soon. Till that, the desert formed in nature as well human mind is real and true, that snatching all dreams. Here in the poem, flowers withering in waterlessness, life spilled in secret disease, lifeless greenery, copper-colored burning sky, ash-colored art, these all are the destructive form of cruel nature. Images of desert infested cactus like sisu tree, flower pollen ingested by venomous snakes, the icy winds of the night, sunshine are seems as burning iron, etc. These symbols indicates a destructive world where even a camel could not coexist and died thinking of an ocean. In the hope and survival, the process of continual deforestation, global warming is one of the most catastrophic events for human civilization. The poet describes it as a horror of death which evokes romance. The romance of destruction, decay, and death is only a futile attempt without creation. Here, the poet describes about the sexual intercourses among adults, and actually healthy sexual intercourses between adult man and woman is a symbol of creativity. So sexual intercourse provides healthy energy by uniting individuals and society, but sexual intercourses with a immature teenager to satisfy perverted sexual urges can never be creative. This sex is equivalent to the rape of the teenager. This is the ultimate downfall of morality, creativity, and values. It is important to note that in many cases, human beings also played the role of a rapist by their acts and fulfill their egotism. Destruction of the nature in the name of development, leading severe effects with climate change, is nothing but the rape of nature. Here I'm going to conclusion part. From the above discussion of the poem, Here Prevailed a River, we can come to the following conclusions. The main feature of the poem are the strong social consciousness and awareness to climate change of the poet. The poet presents the challenges faced by modern society and civilization by mentioning various images and symbols associated with natural and folk life of Assam. Literature is a powerful medium of social changes. The poem also carries out a strong thought-provoking message about climate change and its impact on human society. It is considered as one of the most burning issues of contemporary world. Thank you, sir. Here I'm going to end my paper.
Sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. I'm concluded my paper.
Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes, you may.
Is Majuli vulnerable to the climate change? Is Majuli the biggest river island?
Yes, sir.
Is vulnerable for the climate change?
Yes, the effect of climate change is affected Majuli also. There is, you may heard the irrigation problem of Assam, which is which create a very panic situation for the people of Assam. Irrigation is main issue of Majuli at the present time, and other climate changes in issues like population or the other changes like change of weather, change of climate. This is also impact all over the climate of Assam, including Majuli also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay.
It's too good presentation, madam.
Thank you, sir.
One thing I wanted to add in this, Lord Byron has written the poems of darkness and about the climate change. And now recent book published from the Sunstone publication America, the water stories of Asian American and Indian with the legends of rain, water and lake. It is a now important book with the comparative study of the climate change, Asia and American zone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for the nice information, sir. I'll collect the book.
Okay, thank you. Now may I request Anjali Dharma Rathod to present your topic. Anjali Rathod, please present your topic. Okay,
sir,
please.
तुम्ही हे PPT
yes.
present करता ना?
Okay. I will share your PPT.
हाँ sir.
Is it visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please continue your presentation.
A presentation on wastewater treatment by using activated glass filter media and EcoClean 2300. Presentation outline, introduction, literature review, aim, problem definition, objectives, methodology, materials, design of filter, collection of sample, procedure, results, and conclusion. Next. So next slide.
Yes.
Introduction. Wastewater treatment is the process of removing contaminants from wastewater and household sewage, both effluents and domestic. It includes physical, chemical, and biological contaminants. According to a research, a large number of people die from waterborne disease in the most of developing countries. Therefore, it is very important to get the proper treatment of the wastewater for a healthy living. Water problems are increased day by day, so water treatment is most important. In this project, we are going to use Ecotech process with the help of EcoClean 2300 and activated glass filter media for sewage treatment. The objective of wastewater treatment is to produce disposal effluent without causing harm to the surrounding environment and prevent pollution. Next slide. So next slide. Here are some literature reviews. So next point. So next slide, yeah. The aim of our project is to study the wastewater treatment by using activated glass filter media and EcoClean 2300. And problem definition, first problem is scarcity of water, then water pollution, then wastewater dangerous for human being and environment. The next point. So next slide. So objective ची slide घ्या. So objective. The first objective of our project is to replace sand filter media by activated glass filter media in all filtration application. And the second and main objective to extract organic pollutants, solids, and kill pathogens so that the quality of discharge water is improved. Next point is methodology. First, we have done material collection. Then we design the filter. Then we preparation of filter model. Then we have done analysis of wastewater. Then recycling of effluent. Next point. Then my friend, my colleague explain another side.
Thank you, Anjali. The next point is material. First, gravel. Gravel is collected from nearby river. The gravel are sieved for a grade 3 to 40 mm and placed at the bottom for 15 cm depth. We are going to use gravel as support media. Next slide, please. Ecological is a single-use reagent for water and disinfection of water. This method removes the odor and bacteria from the water. Next slide, please, sir.
Your next slide.
Okay. Activated glass filter media. Activated glass filter media is a more modern and better replacement for the old sand method. Depending on installation and inbound water quality, the use of activated glass can double the performance and effectiveness dramatically over older system for high output water purification. Next slide. Here the design of filter. The model consists the layer of activated charcoal and AGFM during a filter. Wastewater once filtered through a activated carbon filter and activated glass filter media. The treated water is fit for reuse. Next slide. Okay, here the flow sheet of Ecotech process. Next slide. Okay, collection of sample. Sample is located at the Anjanwad Katalwadi, Taluka Guhagar, District Ratnagiri, where the sample is collected in the concrete tank. The wastewater sample from this tank are collected during January 2022 at the temperature 22 degrees Celsius. Next slide. Procedure. First, we have collected the sample and done all the primary treatment. After, take 400 ml of sample and then a single drop of EcoClean. This sludge is settled down at bottom and then collect the clear water from this process. And then this clear water filtered through AGFM filter. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Next slide, result. Okay. Here the results comparison between wastewater after adding EcoClean and filtered through AGFM. We observe that the wastewater is highly polluted and which is exceeding the limit for disposal. Next slide. Conclusion. The collected water sample were treated with EcoClean and all the parameters were exceeding the limit. The collected water sample were treated with AGFM and all the parameters were within the permissible limits prescribed by WHO and other standards. The treated water can be used for irrigation and commercial purpose. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any questions from the audience? I think there is no questions, so we'll move towards our last presentation.
Now may I request Reshmi Sudha Kumar for present his topic.
Thank you,
Reshmi
sir.
Sudha Kumar. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir,
Okay.
for giving me this opportunity to present the paper. So I would like to share my slide. My topic for presentation is Quest for Representation of Man and Environment Relationship in Linda Hogan's Mean Spirit. My mentor is Dr. Rajesh Vishnu Yole, sir. And okay. Abstract. Hogan is a contemporary American Indian novelist, playwright, essayist, along with an enthusiastic environmentalist. Her work focuses on native communities and their connection to nature, spirituality, and cultural essence, thereby reflecting environmental and social issues. The eco-critical theories are all connected to the fact that Earth has intrinsic values and any tampering of Earth or its beings can lead to disharmony in survival. In Mean Spirit, through the experiences of Osage tribal members, Hogan clarifies the sad reality of oil extraction in Oklahoma in the 1920s. It portrays the event as terrible traumatic process that it was for the environment surrounding the industry and for the Native American community existing there. Mean Spirit designs an ethical eco-critical consciousness, which is an urgent concern for all human beings. The research paper primarily aims at study of representation of man and environment relationship in Linda Hogan's Mean Spirit. I would like to thank Khare Dere Bosale College for giving me this opportunity to present the paper. It is a great initiative by the college for providing young researcher like me to present. And I would like to thank my research guide, Dr. R.B. Yole and Changu Kanna Thakur, Arts, Commerce and Science College. Objectives: to explore the relationship between environment and literature, to understand the consequences of oil extraction in the novel, to study the contribution of Linda Hogan as an environmental activist, to comprehend the importance of environmental concerns for the better of the society. Linda K. Hogan. Linda K. Hogan was born on July 16, 1947. Her work focused on the world of Native people, the environment, and her indigenous perspective. Mean Spirit was published in 1990. The novel was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1991. Native communities in her novel are extremely affected by the environmental damaging policies presented by the governmental institutions. The deep changes in the environment and their impact on Hogan's characters push the action in her novel. About Mean Spirit. The Mean Spirit contributes to the literary history of oil in the United States by studying from a threat perspective an infamous period of Native American history in the 1920s. The catastrophic events that developed from the discovery of oil in northern Oklahoma's Indian Territory. Earth bears the scars of oil barons. In order to heal and bring a sense of justice and identity to the Osage, the characters in Mean Spirit return to the practices of their forerunners. Transistor waste center on a strong relation with the biosphere. Quest for representation of man and environment relationship in Linda Hogan's Mean Spirit. The novel Mean Spirit opens in Oklahoma in the year 1922 and is based on a true story. It tells the tale of a small group of Osage Indians and how they are deceived, conned, and murdered for their oil-rich lands. When the rich Indians living in Watona reconnect with the solitary hill people, a small group of Osage who has renounced the worldly ways of their counterparts, increases the strength, self-preservation, and endurance. Tragic incident in Mean Spirit. In the novel, after Grace is mysteriously killed in front of her daughter and her daughter's friend, the entire Indian community goes on the defense. Nola, daughter of Grace, ends up moving back in with Belle and Moses, along with their daughter Letty and grandchildren Rena and Ben. Belle believed it was a conspiracy since Grace's land was worth so much in oil. Reaction of native people. Ben showed his discomfort in his thoughts in the novel, "I'm tired of those landmen coming round to tap the earth for oil." The novel ends after inquiries into the strange and frightening occurrences in Watona and the eventual trial by the people against money-hungry, murderous oil worker John Hill ends with little success. It is reported a mistrial, and during the process, Native Americans across the community are duped out of their homes. Conclusion. Disturbance of the earth run parallel with disturbances in people's lives. The world had gone crazy, notes the omnipresent narrator of Mean Spirit. Just like Priyadarshini ma'am told in this session, today's session, that rising temperature affects human beings and earth badly. So similarly here, to showing that how human beings are getting affected, like with this burning oil fields and all. So on a background of this burning oil fields and the atmosphere of fear, the omnipresent narrator highlights that bad dreams were as common as gas fires at the drill sites. The fact of bad dreams is that earth was being drilled and dynamited open, affected people's lives not just physically but also mentally. This indicated interdependent relationship between the land and people. It is important to save our planet Earth to restore humanity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any question from participant? I think no one question. We have shortlisted few paper for oral presentation.
I think almost all presentation is over. Now I would like to hand over the charge to Dr. R.S. Solanki.
Thank you, sir. I thank all the paper presenters and also thank my colleague, Dr. R.V. Golekar, sir, and Mr. P.M. Agre, sir, for chairing this technical session.